God came to us to seek and to save that which was lost. He raised a man from among us.
He, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, laid the foundation. What I'm doing is something that comes from him through me, and the thing that he uses in me to do the work is my faith in him and the word that he taught. To produce men and women who wanted to clean up their life and build an independent nation for the glory of God.
And it's like almost human nature that once you're around something a lot, you're familiar with it, you kind of begin to mistreat it. You hear me, Sister Helen? You can kind of mistreat it because you get familiar with it. It's almost human nature. So you always have to remember when you're around the minister, like you can't get familiar and comfortable. And usually the E-team, the other brothers will keep each other sharp. Because I get in trouble. I've gotten in trouble. I get whipped more than anybody else on that team.
Every good sibling shares good whipping stories, brothers.
Oh, bro, I got plenty. I got all day.
But go ahead and give us one.
All day. And I get it. I get it.
Were you the one with the water thing that we talked about?
I think I could have been.
You want to share what you remember?
I get to chastise. I got so many of those.
Okay.
But back this humanity, divinity thing is something very, like, we have to, like, really study that. We have to study it. Because look now, see, because if you're looking at the minister as something divine, and he is, but what about him?
Right.
What about brother next to him?
Right.
What about sister?
Yes. Right.
Like Brother Rashad says to me, he said, so if the black man and woman is God, how do you talk to God? How do you deal with God? You raise your voice? See, it's one thing to talk like, yeah, the minister, but what about how we treat one another?
That's right. That's right.
So how could I be in the suite faking it with the minister and treat brother in the back disrespectful?
Right. Come on. That's right. Come on.
How can we do that? That's not right. Especially those of us who serve close to the minister. You have to begin to take on his way.
Yes, sir.
He doesn't allow you to be around him just to be around him. You're around there taking notes so you can put in practice what you see.
Teach. Go ahead. Teach.
So, we have believers, we got to treat one another better.
Yes, sir.
One another better. And that's what really would make the minister smile. We know that we have crossed over from death to life when there's love
for the
brotherhood and the sisterhood.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And that's kind of like what I feel here at 46.
Are you ready for the
whipping?
story?
Look. Hey, look.
This is gonna be good.
Oh, it's so many. It's so many. One of the last ones I got, because I kind of forget. I'm getting old. But, I work for the minister. I do whatever he asks me. I shine a shoe or get his coat. But oftentimes I help facilitate when a minister may get with a celebrity or a rapper. Like, that's my area And so most of the rappers and entertainers you see the minister with, I'm somewhere in there, you know, on his behalf, working and putting it together. So there was a phone call I was coordinating. I think it was Usher, and with the minister. And the minister agreed to speak with him. And we were in the palace when the minister agreed to speak with him. Now the next day we're on the road somewhere. And so when the minister agreed to speak with him, I immediately called Usher, or Usher's assistant, and said, yeah, the minister's going to speak with you, and let's do it tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. You know? I don't know why I'm taking these kind of liberties. He set his schedule. So the next day we're on the road. I don't know what city we're in. I'm in the security room with Josh, and so I'm telling Josh, like, okay, Josh, you know, like at 9, the minister has a call with Usher at 9. So like remind the minister, right? Okay, so now we're going to morning coffee. So we're in the suite with the minister. The minister's in a good mood. We're having morning coffee. You know, it's the whole team, you know, family, the Supreme is there, you know. So the minister says, okay, let me up. It's almost time where, you know, he had a morning appointment. Morning appointment, I think, may have been at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, something like that. So the minister said, okay, let me go get dressed, son. And so Josh says, brother minister. Josh said, Dad, okay. No, it's Josh that's coordinating. Okay, Dad, you need to get up, you know, from table. It's time, you got to get dressed. And remember, you got 9 o'clock with Usher. So the minister was like, okay, yeah, Josh, I'm going to go. And when he said 9 o'clock, the minister's like, what? So I'm standing like over here, right? This is and the security room is like here. So when the minister spins and says, what? I'm trying to back up out of the suite like this and to get out of the way. Because that's when it hit me. Like, oh snap. Like, I set this thing and didn't check with Sister Kim to, you know, get the approval from the minister about the time. I mean, it hit me just like that second. Like, oh snap, how did I do that? So I'm out of the way. So the minister says, what? What phone call with Usher? So Josh immediately is like, where did he go? So Josh was like, that's what Don Enoch said. Wow. Brother Don. Oh, you know, yes, sir, brother minister. The minister. Brother, why would you set a phone call without checking with me first? Y'all can see? Why would you do that, brother? What can you say? One more thing like that and you fired. You out of here. Wow. Supreme Captain the Supreme Captain steps up on me.
That's exactly the height thing.
Right. And he's looking, checking to see how you're taking this upbraiding. How you taking this whipping. And he's just looking. to see if there's any, you know?
Wow.
Because if it's any of that, and the whole like when he roars, oh, everybody, everything comes to a stop. It's a tension. And then you see that whole E-team turn on you. Like we were just laughing. We were just laughing. And they looking like, I mean, and serious, this ain't no joke. They are waiting for the word. Right? Okay. Ministers, hi. Okay, I think I was supposed to go on that detail. I stayed. Right? Okay, so when the minister was going out of the suite, I'm on the door. And he just looks at me. And go, you know, hour, 2 hours later, he's coming back. We're setting up. Comes in the room. I got the door open. He's coming down the hall. The minister and the whole team. So I'm on the side holding the door. He looks at me again. This is 2 hours later. He goes in the room, right? So the whole E-team comes in, then we go all into the security room. I'm going in the security room with the team. I usually stay in there with him, and they say, Brother Minister, how are you? What can I get you? You want some water? You want your slippers? None of that. I'm going in to get out of the way. I get to the, and brother. Yes, sir, Brother Minister. I mean, I was on my way out. No, this is part 2. So I run to the minister sitting like over there, and brother, I spent around, ran to him, took a knee. Brother, I don't understand. When I'm right here, why would you do that? I'm not getting into no dumb explanations like yo, I bugged out and I just said, please forgive me, sir. I will not do that again. You were forgiven, but why would you do it?
You were forgiven, but
why would you do it? I just kept my head down like, yes, sir, I won't do that no more, sir. I won't do it again. I won't do it again. And he's like, So I get up, take 2 steps back, and leave out. Now check this out. A couple hours later, we're setting up for dinner. We have more dinner guests than we have seats in the suite, right? And this is his ministers and looking for, he's seating the guests. You sit there, and he's like, wow, we don't have enough seats. So, and he's running out of seats. So you sit there. And so I'm standing there, helping people get situated. Brother Don. Yes, sir, Brother Minister. I said, me? He said,
I'm asking you to sit.
Wow.
Here he got his student ministers standing. He tells me to sit. Yeah, I whipped you earlier.
Right.
I love you, boy. Sit down. Get some soup.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's the heart, you know, the minister is.
It's hard, man. And that's one of that's one of the reasons why we want to have these type of settings. So, you know, it's one thing for me to talk about it, but it's another thing for somebody who actually experienced it, right?
Yeah.
You know, so you used the word enigma earlier. So you just imagine a person that is like myself or somebody, I'm talking about what I heard somebody say about an enigma. They're like, okay. But for somebody who actually experienced this from this man, and we'll make a transition to about 3 more questions and we'll start opening up. Like you mentioned that you also have been, you know, when the minister is meeting with celebrities and things like that, and you play a role in assisting him to do so. And I just want to, if you can talk, there's a lot that we can't talk about, but I want 2 specifically. Let's start off with how you set up. Let's start up with how you, with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan meeting when Eminem had the opportunity to meet him. And for those who may not know, Eminem is this white rapper from Detroit. And the reason why I'm asking that, because I really wanted to ask about Jay-Z first, because I like Jay-Z. But I'm asking about Eminem because, you know, the media has done this thing on the minister, as the minister said, where they have put him in his prison. And now with the use of social media, the Twitter army, he's getting out of that prison. But people have this thing where they think like the minister is this hateful person of white people or Jews or whoever, right? So can you talk about how that was facilitated and what you can share about the meeting, the dinner that they had?
Eminem.
Yeah.
Yeah. First, you know, I worked for many years in the music business, always under a Muslim. Always under a Muslim. First was a Nation of Islam Muslim, and then the other Muslim was with Dr. York, Imam Isa, and that movement. Kedar Massacre. Kedar Massacre was the president.
Erykah Badu.
Right, Erykah Badu, Angie Stone, D'Angelo. Like Kedar was the father of neo soul, and so he started Chico DeBarge, Indy Irie, all of that movement. He was the father of, and he was the president of Motown Records. So he hired me at Motown Records, and I was an A&R. A&R stands for Artist and Repertoire. I'm the person who finds the new act, get them signed to the record label, and manage the recording process. Now, I did not know when I was in the music business that my sole purpose for being in the music business was to get this information on the music business to later help the minister in his music. Like, I didn't know that that's why I was there, but that's why God had put me there. Right? While in the music business, and I know quite a few people in the music business, like I'm known as Brother Don Muhammad. That's very important. I'm not Don Muhammad. I'm Brother Don Muhammad. See, the brother is my affiliation to the Nation of Islam. That's our brand, brother. It distinguishes me from all the other Muslims that's in the music business. I'm Brother Don Muhammad. They don't put brother in front of their names. On my door in Universal Records, it said B-R-O period Don. Everybody called me Brother Don. I made sure that. I didn't allow them to call me Don Muhammad. No. It's Brother Don. Because that connects me to the minister.
That's right.
So, what relations I have, it's really because of the minister. It's because of him. The respect that I have in the music business is because of the minister. If I'm able to facilitate these meetings, it's not because of me, it's because they want to get with the minister. I'm just the conduit through which they get to the minister. It's the minister that Eminem wanted to get with. It wasn't Brother Don. I'm just making a phone call. His people just so happen to know me. That's important. They want to get with the minister. And young believers, all these rappers, where's Sister Hadia? My little niece. Okay. We admire the celebrity. We all got our favorite rappers. Young brothers, young sisters, older sisters. Young sister over there. We all have our favorite celebrity. We emulate, as young believers in the Nation of Islam, we see them, want to be them, we want to rap, all of that. I can kind of understand it. But what I want to impress upon you, young brother, is that your favorite rapper wants to sit and talk with and be with your leader and teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So why are we wanting to be like them when they really want to be like us?
Come on.
They want to be like us. They want to sit with him.
That's right.
And I see it all the time. All the time. So, we were in Detroit. I forgot what brought us there. I don't know if it was Savings there.
For justice.
Justice or else. 10-10-15. We was on the tour. And we were in Detroit. I reached out. He has two managers. He got the big Jew, Paul Rosenberg, and this white girl. And the white girl kind of handles his social agenda. Paul Rosenberg handles the big stuff. The music stuff, I should say. The music stuff. So I reached out to the white girl. Hey, Brother Don, hey. Hey, look, you know, we're in the city. We're in Detroit. Why don't you check with M and see if him and Paul, you all would like to come and have dinner with the minister? Sure, Brother Don, I'll check. She checked. She got back to me. And we had to kind of figure out the time because he had an engagement, what have you. So, like, yeah, but the response was, sure. He and Paul wants to come and meet the minister. So we worked it out the time. They came into the hotel through a back way. The FOI, the E-team facilitated, got him up to the suite. He met the minister, and the minister is a gracious host. He's a gracious host. And M sat down to the table with the other guests and had a wonderful Muslim meal and ate all his food and scraped the plate. Yeah, and the manager, who is Jewish, you know, he was right there next to him, and they were looking at the minister like wow, this is him. Right. And they had very warm, kind, you know, table talk. Afterwards, took some pictures. Minister greeted. Minister offered him to come to visit the farm. You know, when his schedule permits. He hasn't taken advantage of it yet, and you know, it was beautiful.
And so we thank you for sharing that. And we talked about, but the minister talked about publicly how he had the conversation with Jay-Z after listening to the album 444 by his I think it's his grandchildren were telling him about it. So you shared with me how that came about. Can you share with everybody else?
Yes. So the minister calls me, and you never get used to a phone call from the minister. Never, 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 never.
Never ever.
Never ever. So, sister, it pops up base 1. And so, of course, it's Sister Kim. Assalamualaikum, Brother Don. Yes, ma'am. Hold for the minister. Like, oh, snap. Like, hell, like, what? Hey, turn that TV, Yes, sir. Assalamualaikum, Brother Minister. Well, and it's because you don't know why you're being called. What did you do? That's the first thing. Like, oh, Allah, like, what did I do? So you're waiting to hear his wa alaikum salam. However he gives that, it lets you know what the temperature of this call.
Wow.
So you're waiting to, for that. And it's something that you don't ever get used to. We got it the other day. Sister Helen and I were in the movie theater, and the phone vibrate. I'm like, oh man, it's the office. Yes. Sister Kim. Hey, somebody, Brother Don, where are you? I'm in the movie theater. Step out. Yes, ma'am. All right, I'll be back. I go out theater. The time I get out, my phone is ringing again. Yes, ma'am. Brother Minister? Yes. He's on. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Minister. Wa alaikum salam. Brother, tell me, how did this thing come up? Because I was coordinating something for him. I said, and he said, brother, he said, and give it to me straight. Do not add or take away from it. I was like, oh, Lord. Let me go sit down. So immediately you just start stammering. Well, Brother Minister, it went like this. And I got through it, like I wasn't in trouble, but I was coordinating something, and he wanted to know, like, how it came about. It's not the Jay-Z thing, this is something else. Yeah, and he just wanted to know. So I explained it to him. He said, okay, all right. And you can tell, like, his whole disposition, like, it lightened. And then we kind of got to normal, like, talk. But, it's something on the phone. You don't ever get used to it. It's always oh, snap, like, what, And Helen is like, wait, oh, you gotta, let's do it. Oh, let's sit down. It's something. And look, so I get a call, and he's like, Brother Don. So he's upbeat. So I'm smiling. Yes, sir, Brother Minister. And you can tell he's smiling and he's in a good mood. So he says, brother, I was listening to Jay-Z's new record, 444. And so he was just talking about the record. And he said, he was, giving commentary about the record. And then he said, Brother Don, I want to speak with brother. Right? So now, this is kind of tough, Jay-Z. It's kind of tough. Little context is that about 3 or 4 years earlier, where I'm at an event with Jay Electronica in Brooklyn. It's called the Brooklyn Bodega. It's an annual summer event. Our brother Jay Electronica is performing, and Jay-Z is performing. Like, Jay-Z is one of his special guests to come out on his on Jay Electronica's set. Okay, so I'm in the trailer with Jay-Z, and I reintroduced myself to brother, and said, brother, I work for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And the minister speaks so affectionately about you, you know, like our father would do a son. And I said, would you be open to like meeting with the minister, you know, offline, you know, wherever at your discretion? So he paused and said, like, he said, when it's time, like, it will happen. And that wasn't the response I wanted.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, all right. And then he said, you know his son is one of my best friends. And I said, the Supreme Captain, Brother Mustafa. He said, yes. And I said, yes, sir. And I left it like that. Okay, now, let's fast forward. I'm on a call with the minister. It's 3-4 years later. Now the minister is asking, he never asked before. He didn't ask me that time. The minister didn't say, Don, I want to meet with Jay-Z, and that's why. I was doing that on my own. So I'm thinking about what happened before when I spoke to Jay-Z. Now, I know Jay-Z's cousin, who was one of the founding members of Rockefeller, Beehive. He and I talk frequently. Matter of fact, when the minister was on the Breakfast Club, Beehive reached out to Charlemagne to say, look, I want to connect me with the minister. And Charlemagne said, I'm going to connect you with Brother Don. And we began a rapport. So when the minister asked, silly me, dumb me, I was like, Brother Minister, I'm making excuses. Brother Minister, you may, like if you, whatever you want to say to him, and like if you record it, I may be able to get the tape to him. Right, see your face, sister? Right, that's what I got from the minister on the phone. Because the minister didn't say anything. And I'm sure the minister looked at the phone like, what? What is this fool saying? And I immediately picked up on it and said, yes, sir. I'll get right on it, sir. Then he said, okay, yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Like he was waiting for my brain to kick in. Like he knew, like I bugged out for a moment. And like, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm waiting. Wait. Oh, okay, you got it? Like, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, assalamu alaikum. I immediately called Beehive. Yo, B. The minister just listened to 444 and he wants to speak to your cousin. Beehive said, stand by. Beehive calls me back and says, Jay said, thank the minister for listening, and he'll speak to him tomorrow morning, because it was in the evening at that point, and Jay was in LA. So I called Sister Kim back.
You didn't make that same mistake.
No. So I called Sister Kim back to get a time for the next morning. The minister was going to be in a laborers meeting at the salon. So the minister asked, he sent word through Sister Kim to find out what time was good for Jay. So it came back that 9 a.m., it was 9 a.m. East Coast time, 10 a.m. Chicago time, and a reverse?
Yes.
It should have been 7 a.m.
No, excuse me. It was noon East Coast,
11 o'clock.
11 Chicago. What time in LA?
It'd be 9.
9 in LA. So Jay-Z said 9. It was 12 for me, 11 for Chicago. Right? So that's what we had coordinated for the next morning. Next morning at 11:30, I'm getting my stuff in order to make this phone call. Because they're going to call, Jay was going to call me, I'm calling Sister Kim. She's giving the minister the phone. Oh, let me say this. See, it happened this time because he asked for it. And what he asked for, God gives him.
Goes back to what the Jay-Z statement.
And I told the minister what Jay-Z had said later. And he said, brother, that's a very wise statement.
Wow.
But it didn't happen before when I tried to coordinate it because it wasn't time. The minister didn't ask for it. It wasn't time.
And Jay-Z hadn't even like that level that he's in now. That spiritual.
It wasn't time, Brother Willie. But when the minister called for it, it all began to fall in place. So 11:45 my time, I'm getting ready for the phone call. Right? 11:59. I'm looking at the countdown from 11:45 a.m. to noon. When my phone got to 11:59 seconds, when the thing turned 12, my phone was vibrating.
Wow.
From brother Jay-Z. On time, man. On time. He was anxious. He had to have been waiting to make the phone call. No way that my phone would have rang right as soon as it said 12 o'clock, 0 seconds. It was not 10 seconds later, not 12:01, but when it says 12 o'clock zeros, it was vibrating from an unknown number, and I knew it was him. Yes, brother. Sean, yes, brother. How are you? Fine, brother. This is Brother Don. Hold on, sir. Time. So they had a wonderful talk. A wonderful chat. And the minister was breaking down his lyrics. And he was laughing. He was like, oh. He says, you really listen to it. You got it. You got it. He says, my people, they don't get it yet. Minister started breaking down 444 and what it meant. Minister said, I don't know what it means to you, but let me tell you what I get from the 444. And Jay started laughing. He says, yes, that's it. It's about new birth and spirituality. Oh, man, the minister laid that piece out. And he thanked the minister. He thanked the minister for his time taking the call. And the minister, of course, he said, well, brother, I would love, whenever your schedule permit, to meet you formally. And he was like, yes, yeah, let's do it. So it was a beautiful call, brother. A beautiful call. The minister talked about, and you hear the minister say, okay.
Yeah.
No, right. What I don't forget how the line goes, Sister Hammond. We always saying it at home. It's something.
Jay-Z.
Well, you think
I'm not black.
I'm not black. I'm OJ.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so the minister told him that Jay-Z fell out. Oh, he laughed, man. He said, wow. And the minister says, well, what's better than one billionaire? And the minister says, two, especially if they're of the same hue as you. And Jay laughed again. He said, man, you really listen. He was blown away by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
We'll do this so much we can ask you, but we're gonna open up. Keep it to myself.
No. There's something. Yeah, we got to get to sister.
Oh no, that's about that. Open up for the questions.
No, I want to tell you about it.
The sister's not gonna let me forget you.
Yes, ma'am. She's raising her hand.
Oh, me first? Great.
Walaikum salam, ma'am.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I want to know your very first experience of actually bearing witness of the majesty of the minister. you know how, like, Brother Terrence was with him and it was some kind of storm and the minister said, you know, don't worry about this, trees were hitting on the ground. And
Yeah.
I've actually saw something myself, but I want to hear when you first saw it.
My mind it goes to I forget what city we were in, but it was a like a hurricane alert. It was a hurricane alert, and it was something terrible outside. And we were up in the hotel, like St. Louis, yeah. And they called for an evacuation, like for us to evacuate the hotel. And the minister was, I think we could have been at dinner.
Yes.
Yeah. And the minister was as calm as you are right there, brother. And I'm talking about out there had got so black and dark in the wind and like the building was rocking. And he was as calm and said, no, you're not. We'll be okay. Wow. Like, we'll be okay. And we were okay.
Wow.
You know?
Next question.
Hold it. Before we start getting into the questions, I want to tell you about how I met Sister Helen.
Thank you,
Right? So I'm in Chicago. I'm not Chicago, excuse me. I'm in Atlanta, living, you know, and at mosque number 15, and on Brother Jamil's security detail. And this was a Tuesday night. All right, not a mosque night. And so we go to one of Brother Jamil's favorite restaurants. It was a Caribbean restaurant. Like downtown Atlanta. And I think it was called the Caribbean Restaurant. Brother Jamil and I are at a booth, and Sister Helen is standing in line to, making an order for takeout. So she's standing right by our table. So Brother Jamil strikes up a conversation with Sister. And he asks, like, where is she from? And she says Philadelphia. And so Brother Jamil, he was the student minister in Philadelphia. So he's like, Philadelphia? Like where? I'm from Philly. Then she said, well, I'm not really from Philly. I'm from a little town outside of Philadelphia. You never heard of it. It's called Norristown. And I said, I know exactly Norristown. I've been there twice. I used to date a girl from Norristown. She was Miss South Carolina State. And I said, her name was Lois Corley. Do you know her? She says, she was my best friend in high school. Wow. I said, really? She said, she lives across the street from me. I said, well, I've been at Lois Corley's house a couple times. I've probably seen your house. So, like, I thought that was just really, yeah, like it was interesting, like, you know, of all the people. So, you know, it was light talk. So she got her food. She like, okay, nice meeting you, and she's out. Brother Jamil says to me, check this out. He said, brother, why don't you go and ask Sister, will she join us for dinner? I look at Jamil like, let me tell you my look and the reason. In my mind, I'm like, she ain't young and hot and exotic. In my mind, I don't say it. In my mind, Jamil looks at me and says, brother, that sister, as if reading my mind, says, brother, that sister may turn out to be your best friend in life. And when he said it, it resonated with me so, Brother Pat, that I got up and went to get her. She was at her car getting in. And I said, excuse me. She turned around and I said, would you care to join us? And she looked and said, okay. And she came in and she sat down and she joined us. So we talked. I got her number. She was a student at Spelman. And I was going to invite her out to the mosque. That was a Tuesday. That Saturday, the minister was in New York at the Apollo Theater doing this Betty Shabazz benefit. And we pulled it down via satellite at this church in Atlanta. I called Sister and invited her, and she said that she would come out. She came out. The next day, Sunday, I called Sister again, invited her to come to the mosque meeting. 19 Ashby Street, Brother Carlos. And she came. Not only did she come, but she accepted the teachings that day.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I was like, no way, like, oh no, like not the first time I accepted the teaching. Oh, she just wants me.
You wasn't mad that you.
Right. She's doing this for me. So I'm like, okay, she ain't gonna get me, right? But let's see how far she goes through her orientation. So she, orientation, recite, she's a registered Muslim. I'm like, whoa, like, oh snap, it wasn't about me. And Sister became my friend. She was the sister. I wasn't interested in marrying Sister. She was my friend. She was a sister that fed me when I was hungry in Atlanta, and when I was trying to get away from the brothers, the captain, I could go and Sister would allow me to sit down and go to sleep in a place and feed me. And that was it. And she was kind to me. This is like 20-something plus years ago. All right? Okay. Every Ramadan, like maybe 16 years into the relationship, she's just my best friend. I tell her all my business. All my business. I know she loved me. But I knew that, like, yo, sis, you don't want, I will wreck your life, sister. I will, And she was just as kind and, like, and was a friend. Every Ramadan, when I call myself getting real serious, I say to myself, you got to get married. You got to get married. And so I'm running through my mind of all the sisters I know that I'm semi-interested in. Sister will come up in there somewhere, and I would dismiss it. Oh, no, like, that's my friend. No way. To myself. This is like 3-4 Ramadans in a row. So, like, maybe the 4th Ramadan, it says, a conversation with myself, well, who's the sweetest woman you know? Immediately, she was at the top of the list. I still resisted it. Right? She ain't young and hot. Then it says to me, I thought you was deeper than that. Oh, you're Enoch and you walking with God? You're thinking like a savage. You're thinking low. How come you don't reflect the thinking of God? Ain't God teaching you better than this? I'm like, ooh, damn. With myself. Right? Yeah, by the next Ramadan came around, I am like, oh, well, I'm going to do this with sister, but I ain't telling her. So sister tells me, like, I'm moving out of Atlanta. I'm moving back to Philly. Because, you know, I'm just tired of, I need a change. I'm like, okay, and I want you to help me move. Okay, no problem. She tells me that I think, like, and my lease is up. Okay, so I think it was like in August of that year. So as we getting closer to it, she's like, remember, you're helping me move. Okay, all right. I drive to Atlanta, she has the big rental truck, she's moving out of a place, and now so she thinks we're driving to Atlanta. No, we're driving to Philadelphia. We stop in South Carolina at my place, right? Where she's been many times because the whole family knows her. I know her family. Her family knows me because any big thing that's going on in our lives, we're there. She's my friend. We stop South Carolina. The next morning, she think, okay, we're going to be on our way to Philly. We go to I got something to do at the courthouse. I need you to ride with me.
Go ahead. This is a new level of respect.
We're in the courthouse, so I'm talking to the clerk, trying not let the clerk hear what I'm saying. You know, how you get married, like what you gotta do. While she's sitting back there, so I get the paper, you know, okay, you gotta fill this out, fill this out. I'm filling it out up there. Okay, this is where the woman's name goes. Wow. So I take it and then give it to her. And she's like, well, what is this? And she, oh. Wow. Like, what? And I'm like, don't make a big thing out of it. Oh. Just sign it. Like, yo, save me the drama. I don't want no tears and all that.
Yo, you got it.
And so I was told, she didn't know that I was moving all that stuff into my house.
Wow.
Like I wasn't letting her go to no Philadelphia. Hold on, I ain't finished. That woman cooked too good. See that she seduced me with that food, sisters, you hear me? I was not letting her go. Because during Ramadan, you know, the older you get, the more important food becomes and everything else dissipates. So I began to ask myself, okay, what do you absolutely need? So I said, I need a peaceful, tranquil house.
Right.
I need peace in the house, and I need good food. So it became, she was the most sweetest, the most peaceful sister. I think I'm finished.
Like baby saying, we finished or we done? But
How long have y'all been married?
Last week? No. 6 years? We stopped counting. Because I've been knowing her forever, and the friendship is just... We are friends. And the most consistent thing at our house is laughter. We constantly laugh.
Wow.
She constantly clowned me. I constantly clown her, and we laugh. And the life is easy when you're laughing. And it's not heavy. It's not heavy. She allows me to be me. She corrects me, but she corrects so softly that I have to auto-correct. I have to self-correct because of the soft correction. Like, I'm not a complete fool, an idiot, so I self-correct. So I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot being married this time.
And you got a lot of single boys gonna be waiting for Ramadan, bro.
Ramadan is serious.
Waiting for Ramadan.
Ramadan is serious. It's serious.
They checking their cell phone right now. When that moon show?
Serious. You know, and the minister asked me, so maybe about a year or so in, he said, "So brother, how is the married life?" And I said, "Brother minister, it's peaceful." He said, "Yes, that's it. That's it, brother. Peaceful." All right, we're ready for the next one.
That was awesome.
Single brothers might start getting meals, man. Any questions? Any questions?
Hold. Before Rashad, sister, like, when she makes the meal, I still take pictures of it. And I send it to the brothers. And I kind of feel bad because I feel like I'm bragging. And I don't want to feel like I'm bragging, but I'm so proud of the presentation. And she puts a lot of love in it. So I'm taking the pictures of it like, wow, look at this. And she could be not feeling so good about me at certain times. But she never stop and say, "Yo, I'm not making you any food because you act a fool or you acting up." She always feed her husband. Brother Rashad.
The question that comes to mind is the minister and his music.
Ooh.
You know, music is a universal language. It also has healing properties. And when you come into the music project, to his ministry in music, could you share with the believers what you've learned of his expression based on his gift that he's giving back to you?
Oh boy. That's a whole another hour. The minister and his music. No, that's a series of lectures. The minister, the music further bears witness to his godhood. The minister was as a young boy, the minister was, what do they call those children?
Prodigy.
A prodigy on the violin. The minister's mother gave him the violin and Brother Alvin the piano. And at first the minister didn't like the violin. And he said that, because he didn't think it was cool. And he said that when walking home sometimes with the violin, he would put the violin under his arm and carry it, like it was a horn or something, But the minister, as a child, was a prodigy. And the violin is the most difficult instrument to master, to play. And they say that because you hold it close, like it emotes the heart, and there's significance to this, and it has to be studied. The minister and the violin, and David as the chief musician of the Lord. He was the warrior king and chief musician of the Lord. And when he first met the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the first time that they met, and he says the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was working his way around the table after the dinner was over, that he said to him that you remind me of David. So the minister was this child prodigy and exceptional on the violin, and even was on a very, very popular amateur hour show called the Ted Mack Show, as a young boy. And you can find that footage on YouTube. Yes, right. So he was exceptional on the violin. And as he got older, the minister, became quite the calypso star, and was really on his way to becoming like a Harry Belafonte and bigger. Right. He was on his way when now in the mosque, the instruction was given for all the musicians to leave music. But the instruction really wasn't for everybody.
Let's switch this.
Okay, we're going to switch
so
it.
We're going to pick up where the minister.
So the instruction was given to the minister that he had to give up his, not to the minister, but to all of but it was for the minister. Yes. It was for the minister. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was wanting to see, because the minister was the most prominent star, and it's who the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was looking for anyway. He didn't care about them other musicians, whoever they were, in the temple, because he had his eye on his star. Minister Farrakhan was Elijah's star. And maybe the minister didn't know at that time, and probably didn't. But the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted to see if he was going to give it up. And soon as, and it was told to him because the minister had a gig that day, so he had missed the mosque meeting. He came uptown to get some soup. And while getting some soup, the brother says, Brother Louis, I don't know if you heard, but, he's spilling the beans. Right. That, the word came down from Chicago that everybody in music got to get out. And the minister was like, whoa. And the minister said he got up from the table, and he said he walked outside, and he took 30 paces. And he says, I can live without music, but I cannot live without the truth.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.